Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, all praises and double honors due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Hamashiach, wa Malak Yahweh Shai. Secondly, this is Brother Yardan. WFI Detroit coming back at you with yet another cold cup. I'm going to begin this video with the book of Mark, chapter 11, verse 11. However, what initially made me want to bring this account out is from Sirach, chapter 26 and 4. That's where my inspiration drew from, which we'll get later in this video. But first things first, I do want to begin with the account of Yahweh Shai encountering this fig tree and his experience with this fig tree and what he's done to this fig tree. So, beginning at verse 11, and Yahweh Shai entered into Jerusalem and into the temple. And when he had looked round about upon all things, and now the eventide was come, he went out unto Bethany with the 12. And on the morrow, when they were come from Bethany, he was hungry. And seeing a fig tree afar off, having leaves, he came, if haply he might find anything thereon. And when he came unto it, he found nothing but leaves, for the time of the figs was not yet. Verse 14, and Yahushua answered and said unto it, no man eat fruit of thee hereafter forever. And his disciples heard it. And then that's it. The Lord just cursed the fig tree. This is a beautiful account. And a lot of Christians, they don't really know what's going on. They don't really fathom why Yahweh Shai has done such a deed. But we're going to break it down through the Spirit and make sense of it. I'm going to jump down to verse 19. And when even was come, he went out of the city. And in the morning, as they passed by, they saw the fig tree dried up from the roots. And Peter, calling to remembrance, saith unto him, Master, behold, the fig tree which thou cursedst is withered away. And Yahushua answering saith unto them, Have faith in God. For verily I say unto you, that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, Be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he saith shall come to pass, he shall have whatsoever he saith. Now, this is a beautiful account. It's double-fold, if you will. On one fold, touching on what Yahushua mentioned, if you even have faith to remove things out your life, because nobody actually has the power to, besides the Most High God and Yahushua, it's not literal picking up a mountain and moving it across the world, right? A mountain is something that's known for being heavy and great and mighty in some aspects, and strong. So if you encounter anything in your life, such as an obstacle that may also represent something like a mountain that's heavy, great, and strong, that's hindering you from doing the work or hindering you at all, and you have power to remove it by believing in the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, then you will surely be able to do so. That's what that's going into. And so it is with spirits, with certain people, whatever the case. You have the ability in the name of Yahweh Shai to remove things, to heal yourself, right? To pray for another brother that he gets healed. Pray for this to happen. He said, ask and you shall receive. But you have to have faith. Faith is the main ingredient. Faith is definitely the main ingredient. And even as Yahushua said, you must not doubt. Now, that's one fold. Now, on another fold, man, we're likened unto trees. Let's bring that out in the book of Mark, chapter 8, verse 14. Let me see if that's it. Might be looking right over it. I don't have my glasses. Bear with me. I'm looking right over it. Eight and 24. That's what I want. Mark 8 and 24. I'll set up verse 23 for a little bit more context. And he took the blind man by the hand and led him out of the town. And when he had spit on his eyes and his hands upon him, he asked him if he saw aught. And he looked up and said, I see men as trees walking. So there you have it, men is also likened unto trees. They're likened unto beasts. We're likened unto many things. Now we're likened unto these inanimate objects, such as trees and beasts, or beasts, is moving, it has life. But we're likened unto these things in life that we see and we commonly know thereof for a reason. Because these things that we see, such as a tree and beast, they represent something. Even a snake, when you read in the book of Genesis. Man was referred to as a serpent because a serpent in his ways is subtle, sly, sneaky. So it is with a tree, or similarly with a tree, in regards of it being parabolic for something. So in this case, a fig tree is a fig tree, but because this fig tree didn't promote or cultivate any fruit, it was cursed. And we can liken that unto, or we can see that as a warning for us, because we're trees. Man is likened to trees. Let me bring that out in the book of, I believe, John 15. I'm the vine tree, and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. And every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit. Now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Verse 4, abide in me and in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself except it abide in the vine. No more can ye, except ye abide in me. I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me ye can do nothing. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch, and is withered. See that? And is withered, and men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. Similarly, with that fig tree, it was withered up because it was not producing any fruit. So if man is referred to as a tree in some cases, and the fruit, what is that? What must the fruit represent? Let's dive into it. Let's go to the book of Ephesians. I'm sorry, Galatians. Chapter 4. All right, it's referring to the fruits of the Spirit. 5. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And they that are Hamashiachs have crucified the flesh with the affections and lust. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, envying one another. But plainly, it reads that the fruits of the Spirit are attributes everyone must have being in this truth. And it may seem difficult some days because we have to dwell within this earthly tabernacle, which is, definitely not the most righteous, to say the least, because we have to deal with these infirmities. So we have to war and fight against the flesh. But you must overcome. That's your expected end. That's the expectation of the Lord from you, that you fight unto the very end and continue to bear these fruits despite the elements that you're enduring, despite the sweltering heat, the harsh winters, the windiest day. That's why it says in Ephesians 4:14, be ye not little children tossed to and fro. So we don't want to be little children tossed to and fro as well. Salaki, we don't want to be children tossed to and fro. And that's exactly why Yahushua cursed that fig tree, because it was not producing any fruit. So with all that being said, now you must take a look in the mirror and ask yourself, well, what fruit am I producing? Am I cultivating myself? Am I making sure that I'm watering myself? Am I getting enough sunlight? This is all parabolic talk for nourishing yourself with the Spirit of the Lord by reading with Him. Am I studying? Am I fasting? Am I examining myself? Am I reading? Am I reaching out? Am I confessing my faults? Am I performing my alms, my charity? Am I doing what I can to serve and love the Most High God? Am I being my brother's keeper? These are the questions that you must ask yourself. Proverbs chapter 27, verse 19. As in water answereth face to face, it's like as in water face answereth to face, so the heart of man to man. So the same way one looks into the reflection of a water and you see your face, you're able to see the blemishes. Maybe you got mustard on your shirt. Maybe you got some stuck in your teeth. Or perhaps you got some in your hair. Whatever the case is, you're able to see yourself because that water makes it visible. And in seeing the blemishes on your face, you're quick to change it. You're quick to make sure that you're perfect. And so it is with our spirit when we examine ourselves. 2 Corinthians, the classic, chapter 13, verse 5. Examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own self? How that Hamashiach Yahushua is in you, except ye be reprobates. But I trust that ye shall know that we are not reprobates. And that was Paul's desire of the church in Corinth to examine himself and make sure that they're not reprobates. Now, this is the book of Sirach, chapter 27, verse 6. The fruit declareth if the tree have been dressed. I'm going to read that again. The fruit declareth if the tree hath been dressed. So if you produce good fruit, it shows what you've been doing behind the scenes, because you're not always going to be there in the midst of the congregation 24/7. You have to go to bed. You have to go home. You have to read by yourself. You have to be alone in certain times in His walk. And so once your fruit is showing, that shows how much care you're giving yourself through the Spirit, how much care you're tending to yourself. So is the utterance of a conceit in the heart of man. And so the words of man is going to expose what his mind is thinking, because your heart is your mind. Now here it is in the GNT. If it didn't make any sense, here it is in the GNT. Verse 6. You can tell how well a tree has been cared for by the fruits it bears. And you can tell a person's feelings by the way he expresses himself. And the Lord is a husbandman as well as the Most High. I mean, even Yahweh Shai, He's a husbandman. And being a husbandman means you're going to have a keen eye knowing what's profitable and unprofitable in your vineyard. If you have a withering tree or a tree that's branches just keep withering, you're going to want to pluck it off. And the Lord can do that very same thing unto you, but spiritually and or physically if He desires. You must make sure that you're tending to your body and your soul in righteousness, that you wither not away. A lot of brothers had dreams that they may have saw a man or themselves slowly withering. And that's a terrible, scary thing. I mean, for anybody that's tried to have a garden or a plant in your house, surely you must know that it requires constant watering throughout the day, maybe 3 times a day, twice, whatever the case. But shall you forget, you're going to get your result. You're going to get a plant with brown leaves, and you're the reason why those leaves are brown. You want to become a fruitful tree. So with that, Abba Ratazah, Israel has been edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, was able to deeply understand that you must tend to yourself in righteousness and bear those fruit, because everything belongs to the Lord. That means the work that you're doing, it ultimately returns into the Lord. Your fruit is your sacrifice. You're sacrificing yourself day in and day out to be perfect for the Lord. And that perfection is going to show. You're going to bear it. And the Lord is going to acknowledge it. And he's going to reward you for your labor. As it reads in Sirach 35:4, thou shalt not appear empty before the Lord. For all these things are to be done because of the commandments. The offering of the righteous maketh the altar fat, and the sweet savor thereof is before the Most High. So the Most High, he's expecting a sacrifice from you. He wants you to stop being distracted so easily. He wants you to put down that lust. He wants you to be the mightiest that you can be. But he's waiting on you to do it. He's looking up in the heavens, watching this tree day in and day out. He's looking at this tree, which is you. And it may not seem like it because, the Most High is not going to sit up in the room next to you, but he's looking at you. But with that, I'm a bid Israel Shalom.